Okay, before I start, I would like to just give my brief introduction to all of you. I am Neeraj Mishra, and I'm working in a multinational as a database architect, and I have a total of 16 years of experience. So far, training is concerned, I've been in corporate training since a long time, and I have delivered trainings on SQL Server administration, SQL Server performance tuning, Azure SQL, and automation of SQL Server tasks using PowerShell for more than 50 corporates. For more than 50 companies, I have delivered the training. So far, this online training is concerned, I have been delivering this training since last 3.5 years. Batches are usually on Saturday and Sunday, but this batch I have launched on weekdays. On alternate days, we will go with Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Likewise, we will go. Now, before you learn anything, you must know why to learn, right? So I would like to talk everything in prospect of your skills versus the jobs that are available in the market, right? So if you know SQL Server and you are a good administrator of SQL Server, still you have job, but not with good package. If you know the flavors of SQL Server that is available in Azure, especially two flavors are there, Azure SQL and SQL managed instance, you will have more weightage in the job. Most of the companies are looking for DBAs who know SQL Server as well as Azure SQL database administration. Then companies also look for DBAs who are good in performance tuning. So you don't have to tune on, yes, you have to tune on query level, but you don't have to write codes for that. You must have an understanding of the code, where is the problematic area, and accordingly you can suggest for that performance tuning knowledge is necessary. But if you want to be a valued DBA, so that you will have value in your organization, or if you want to be in demand, apart from these three, you must know automation of SQL Server administration task or any customization is required for any specific requirement. You can fulfill that using PowerShell language for automation. So this is nowadays very necessary to have the knowledge of PowerShell. And it is not tough, right? Many of the DBAs are not from the database ground, development background. Someone has been, just a minute. Okay. So many of the DBAs are not from development background. So that's why they have a fear in mind that whether they can do programming or not, right? Because programming is very easy. If you have never been in practice, that's why you may have some kind of hesitation in learning programming, but that is very easy, right? I suggest you to learn all the basics of any programming language. It's not PowerShell only, right? And if you have the basic knowledge of any programming language, you can easily learn other language too. So every language has some keywords, that is the important words they have defined in their dictionary, I would say, but actually that is not dictionary, that is inside the compiler interpreter of that language. Then it has some constructs. Can you all go on mute? So constructs, right? Constructs means some keywords are there which are used for some purposes. Some keywords have the purpose to fulfill the requirement of conditional checking. Some have the requirement for fulfilling the looping concept, right? Some has concept of taking something from the user and then search for that keyword in your database or somewhere else, right? So you have to know a few things, right? Not much things. You have to know a few things. You will have the base and you can go ahead and advance your knowledge. That is what I'm trying to do here, right? The objective of this course is to give you the basic knowledge in the 4 days of the PowerShell sessions. 4 classes are free, and the total there will be 20 to 25 classes where we will learn all the steps for automating SQL Server task, right? There you will see that what tasks can be automated. So almost all the tasks can be automated. Like say, for example, if you have to create a login, SQL login on 200 servers in your 200 SQL servers in your environment, right? How you can do that. So if you are going to do it manually, right, then you have to log in, you have to connect to 200 SQL Server instances, and one by one you have to execute your script in order to create the SQL login. This is not the smart way. It takes a lot of manual efforts and it consumes your time as well, where the automation comes in picture. This is a simple example I'm telling you, right? There is a requirement to create a SQL login on 200 SQL Server instances or 500 SQL instances, right? Second example, I would say any kind of reports you want. Say, for example, you want a report of your disk drives where your data file and log files are there, right? How much percentage is there? Or you want to have a script in place that will check your disk drive space for data file and log files against the threshold. And at any moment of time, whenever the space will, the disk storage space will reach to that threshold, and automatic mail should be triggered to the DBAs queue, and then you can look into that. That is the proactive approach. Likewise, if any server utilization is more than CPU utilization is more than, say, for example, 65 or 70%, an automatic mail should be triggered in your queue, and then you should look on that server proactively, right? Or even for memory utilization, if it goes beyond 95%, right, an automatic mail should be triggered, and then you should look into that proactively. Likewise, if you want to have a backup report for all the SQL Server databases on all instances, you can use PowerShell, right, for that. This has many uses, starting from provisioning to maintenance. Everything you can do using the PowerShell. So during the course, we will see how to create logins on multiple servers at a single go, how to create databases on more than one server at a time, how to take backups of the databases on multiple servers, how to restore the database, right? How to implement transparent data encryption through PowerShell. These are all scripts that I'm talking, I have already implemented in production, and those are ready. Those all the scripts will be provided to you, right? So why I'm talking much about automation, because whenever you listen to leaders in your organization, they will emphasize on 2 things in this era. The first is automation, and second is security. No one is going to talk more than these 2 topics. Why automation? Automation reduces the manpower. Automation reduces your efforts. It saves your time, and at the same time, the work is done with accuracy. Same task over and again, even creating a simple SQL login on 500 servers. If a single person is doing over and again on 500 servers, there is a chance that he will make some mistake. That is the human nature. But whenever you perform it through automation, there is no chance of any error at all, right? That's why automation is pretty much required in every field, right? Nowadays, much of the automation is being done, especially for provisioning through DevOps, right? There are different utilities using that DevOps guys are doing, but whatever task you can do through DevOps, you can also do through PowerShell. That comes under the advanced thing in PowerShell. There is a component called DSC. Using that, you can do. But PowerShell is a very powerful thing, right? So that's why automation is very important. And if you know automation, right, you will get valued in your organization. There is no doubt in that. There is no doubt in that. And PowerShell is almost supported for all the application software, whether it is in your on-premise, such as SQL Server, whether it is SharePoint, or it is Active Directory, or it is your Windows operating system, it is Excel, right? For every application that Microsoft develops, you can use PowerShell for automating the task. That is the first thing. Second thing, now we have multiple databases in Azure also, right? I would encourage you all, if you have not learned Azure SQL and SQL managed instance, at least you should learn these all things. Apart from that, go beyond that. Try to learn Cosmos DB, try to learn Postgres, right? Those are available under the databases in platform as a service in Azure. You must learn that. You will be in big demand. You will be in big demand, trust me, right? And these all databases can be manipulated and their tasks can be automated using PowerShell. So you can think a spectrum of PowerShell, how broad it is, right? It's not only for SQL Server. If you learn the basics of PowerShell, what you have to do in the database in which you are going to implement PowerShell for automation, you have to explore its relevant modules. Every modules provides you some set of classes, and every classes provides you some set of commandlets. Using those commandlets along with the programming constructs, you can automate any database which is based on Windows operating system especially, right? So that is why learning PowerShell is very important. The next question that comes in mind is what PowerShell is. We have 4 days free session, right? So I'm not going to talk about the syllabus in the initial phase today. If the time will allow, I will talk about the syllabus. I have designed the syllabus wonderfully. It will talk about each and every topic that you must know in order to learn PowerShell. So you don't have to worry about the syllabus. And I will deliver you more than syllabus when you talk about automation. So the next question that should come in mind of every person is, what is PowerShell, right? So PowerShell is a shell scripting language, right? PowerShell is a shell scripting language. What does it mean? What does it mean? A scripting language is somewhat different than the regular languages. They are more crisp, they are more concise, yet more powerful. When we talk about languages, the journey of language starts from machine language, where codes were written in form of 0 and 1, and that was pretty much limited to only computer scientists or programmers on those days. Later, some mnemonic codes were developed and introduced as assembly language, which was using mnemonic codes. Mnemonic codes means similar to your English language, like add register, add interrupt, something like that. Codes were there. So that was somewhat simpler than machine language. After that, high-level languages were introduced in the market. They were very similar to English-like language, right? So under the high-level language, you had, and still you have basic, Fortran, Pascal, COBOL, right? C. These all are high-level languages. Even I consider C++, right? Java. These all are high-level languages. When the high-level language was introduced in the market, the use of programming language became normal to general programmers, right? If anyone had chance to work with basic programming, that is so easy. And it's very close to English language. If you write pseudocode and if you compare the basic language, that will be pretty much similar. C is somewhat cryptic than basic, and also Fortran and Pascal are also somewhat cryptic than basic, but basic is a straightforward, very simple to learn, and it's a very plain language. So when the high-level language was introduced, these languages, it gained the market among the general programmers, and programming languages started to gain popularity. Now, in the first phase of high-level language, procedural language were introduced, right, under which basic C, Fortran, Pascal, these all fall. But later, some concept of object-oriented programming was introduced, and that was first implemented in C++, later in Java, later in C#, then in Visual C++, Visual Basic.NET. These all supports, just a minute, guys, I have a call. Guys, please wait for 1 to 2 minutes. I have to do a Paytm on this number, and we'll continue that.
Hello, Neeraj. We are unable to hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay, I just replugged.
Yeah, still little bit, but okay.
Just I'm increasing the volume. So what I was talking that I was talking about different generation of languages. First generation language, machine language, second generation language, assembly language, third generation language, high level languages. Then we have fourth generation language also. That fourth generation language refers to your structured query language, whether it is Transit SQL or PL SQL. But under the third generation language itself, we have two concepts: procedural language and object-oriented language. So your PowerShell is an object-oriented language. That is the first thing to note. So it is a scripting language and object-oriented language, right? When we call it object-oriented language, then definitely it is using some classes. So from where those classes are coming, we will see those classes are coming from namespace and assemblies. We will talk about assemblies and namespaces along with classes and the properties of classes that refers to its every class has its own properties and methods that we will talk. So that is the concept of PowerShell as a language, right? Now, how many of you know that Windows operating system has its own cell also? You all have been using, I'm pretty much sure. I'm going to the Windows operating system cell. This is known as DOS cell, where you are going to use the command prompt. If you are on command prompt here, it means that you are on the cell of Windows operating system. And cell of Windows operating system is what is known as DOS cell, disk operating system cell, right? So there are many things you have to understand here. What is a cell? You all are getting what I'm explaining? Yes or no?
Yes.
So what is a cell, right? That is the question. So every operating system has two parts. One is kernel, another is cell, right? Let me show you the diagram of kernel and cell. Through diagrammatic view, you can understand it easily. So this picture I'm taking, this is a very simple figure here. You can see, right? So we have the hardware, right? Or VMware, whatever it is. So hardware includes your motherboard. On motherboard, you have CPU, you have RAM, you have multiple kinds of device ports, right? You have buses, address bus, data bus, right? Different signal bus, different kinds of buses you have. You have CPU clock, you have system clock, different clocks are there, right? So every operating system, whether it is Windows or Unix or Linux, doesn't matter, has two parts, kernel and cell. In the kernel, you have mainly the background processes of the operating system that runs behind the background to run the operating system. And there is a cell which is responsible for accepting commands from the end users. We as a user give the command to the operating system, but basically that command is handed over to the kernel. Kernel interacts with the hardware and then it gives you the result. So now I'm giving you a simple example here. I am typing the date command here. I am on DOS cell. This is the cell of Windows operating system from where it is getting the date. It is getting the date from the system clock, right? That clock has the information of the date. So when I type in this command and executed it by hitting the enter key, it was handed over to the kernel. Kernel interacted with the relevant hardware, and that hardware is what? That hardware is your system clock. It contacted the system clock, it got that information and given the result back. So this date command is internally defined in this cell, right? This date is known as internal command, like version is internal command of DOS. It gives you the version of the Windows operating system, right? Likewise, other internal commands are also there. When you use the copy command, right, to copy something from one device, some files from one folder to another folder, or from one disk drive to another disk drive. So that also is supported, right? But Xcopy that you use is an external command. So every operating system, not every operating system, especially in Windows operating system, you have two types of commands. One is your internal commands and another is external commands, right? So if you want to know about external command, yes, Xcopy is an example of external command. Then you have attrib, right? That is attrib, ATTRIB. Attrib is an external command, right? More is an external command. Likewise, many external commands are there, right? For external commands, you have either a COM file or an exe file. For every external commands, you have either a COM file or exe file. These are executable files, but these all internal commands are defined internally in a file that is known as command.com, right? So why I'm talking about DOS, this is the cell of Windows operating system. And now this cell has some limitation. Every cell has its own interpreter, right? If there is a cell, it has own interpreter, and an interpreter is always there for a language, right? So why we need an interpreter? That is the question here, right? Say, for example, there are two persons. One knows English, another knows French. How the communication can happen? You need an interpreter between these two. We are typing the commands in English, which is not understood by computer directly. That has to be converted into equivalent, binary code or object code. Then only computer can understand that. That's why either you need an interpreter or a compiler for that. If there is an interpreter that serves some language, right? So this DOS cell has also its own language, right? You might have heard about batch programming, right? So batch programming you are doing for DOS cell. Batch programming has its own limitation. It has less data types or almost no data types at all. It does not support all data types. It has just constructs like, yes, it has one construct that is known as if. With error level, you can work there. But it does not have advanced looping concept, right? Or if you are not from programming background, this term may be new to you. When you have to catch the error in your script or in your program, you have to use try, catch, and throw mechanism, right? So that is not supported. And apart from that, it does not have capability to interact with any application or work with any application. It can work only with Windows operating system or DOS operating system. That's it. This is its limitation. That's why Microsoft felt a need for such a scripting language which can not only interact with operating system, but Windows operating system and its components such as Windows Active Directory. But also it can interact and work with all the application software which are hosted on or which are developed for Windows operating system. Just a minute, guys. I will have to put you on mute. So PowerShell was developed to keep in mind to work with not only Windows operating system, but also with all the application software which are developed by Microsoft. From where this sound is coming. Please, you all go on mute. Please do not unmute. Okay, so that is the objective of PowerShell developed by Microsoft. So your SQL Server is an application software. Any software which you install or host on any operating system, such as Windows operating system, is known as application software. So it's SQL Server or any other database management system, such as Oracle, MySQL, right, Postgres, or it is even Excel or Oracle, or your Word or any application, right? It is known as application software. So PowerShell can not only interact. What is happening, guys? Where's this guy? Where this sound is coming? It is disturbing. Please do not unmute yourself. It's causing some disturbance. Right? So now, what I was talking, guys.
The initiation of PowerShell.
Okay, so we will talk PowerShell in context of Windows operating system, and also in context of SQL Server. But most of the sessions will be related to SQL Server itself, right? So now you should all know that PowerShell is a scripting language. Still, it is a language, so it needs a compiler or interpreter for that. But basically, it's a compiled language, needs a compiler, right? Now, what are the different ways to start PowerShell? So it's very easy. One is the command mode. As we have DOS shell, we have PowerShell shell also, right? So for that, what you have to do, you have to type in PowerShell here, and always as a DBA, you should open it is as administrator, so that you will have access for the execution of all the modules to perform all different kinds of operations, right? It will take a few seconds and you will be on the PowerShell prompt. It is coming, right? Another way to use PowerShell is for developing a script using its ISE, Integrated Development Environment, right? So for that, you have to select this Windows PowerShell ISE. This Windows PowerShell ISE option is targeted for 64-bit editions of operating system and applications. Nowadays, we have all operating systems which are based on 64-bit. We do not have now 32-bit operating system. Neither we have 32-bit operating system, nor we have 32-bit applications now. Now SQL Server also does not come in 32-bit versions. It comes in 64-bit versions, right? So you don't have to go with Windows PowerShell x86. This is targeted for 32-bit, applications. This is targeted for 64-bit applications. So perhaps I started this one itself. So that's why it is here, right? It is here. You can see it is here, right? So this is your development environment of PowerShell, and it has intelligence features too, like you have intelligence feature in SQL Server. So we will see how to develop a scripts here, but not today. This is one where you will develop your scripts. Another is working PowerShell in command mode. So for that, again, you have to type in PowerShell here, right? And this is your PowerShell for command mode, where you do not see the ISE word, right? Right click on this and run as administrator. It will run and you will see PowerShell command prompt is coming, same as your DOS prompt. Every DOS command is supported in PowerShell. As I have executed the date command there in DOS. Let me show you DOS here also. Here we executed the date command. This date command is supported here. If I execute it, it will work fine, you see, right? So all DOS commands are supported in PowerShell, right? If I execute the VER, sorry, it's here, Control C. It was the typo. So if I execute VER, that is not supported, but almost all the commands are supported. So equivalent to that is we have PS version here, right? $PS version. So CLS command is supported. Then all the DOS commands are supported here, like I suppose attrib command should be there, or dir if you want to execute. That is available in DOS, right? The dir is also working. Here dir is also working, right? One more interesting thing is there, not only DOS commands, but also your Linux commands are also supported in PowerShell. In Linux, we use ls to list the directory, right? So just click hit here ls, you will see that it is working fine, right? This is just an example. Why these commands are supported? Because we have the concept of aliasing here, right? So we have a concept of aliasing here, and what command I executed, I will show you so that you can understand where did I execute alias here, get alias, right? Now you see the difference between the command. This is not a command. You can think of that it is a command, but basically it is a commandlet. All the commandlets of PowerShell have been written in C# in form of classes. Please note it down, those who are new to PowerShell. All the commands in PowerShell have been written in form of classes in C# language. That's why they are known as commandlets. In DOS, every command that you execute is called a command. In PowerShell, whatever command you execute is known as commandlets. So get alias is a commandlet that gives you the alias name of the command. Original commandlet in PowerShell to list the directory is get child item. But when I executed dir still I was able to list the directory. When I executed ls, still I was able to list the directory, right? So see now, just try to find out the command what we executed. We executed dir, come to dir, you see, get child item is the original PowerShell commandlet, which had been aliased with dir. This get child item has also been aliased with one command that should be your ls. If you see ls anywhere, ls, you see ls is also aliased with get child item is aliased with ls. That's why the commands available in DOS and Linux and Unix operating system are also supported in PowerShell due to this aliasing. Aliasing makes it possible. You all are clear up to this point? Any question you have? No question? Now, you have seen that I have used one command that is get alias. If you put the, if you press the upper key or lower key, you can scroll through the history of the commandlets that you have executed in PowerShell. So you see here a pattern is there, get hyphen alias, right? For 99% of commandlets in PowerShell, there is a pattern. The pattern is the first word is always a verb, right? Like get, set, something like you will see, right? Get alias, get, that is verb, followed by hyphen, followed by a noun, right? So get hyphen alias. This is the command that gives me the alias of each of the command that is available in PowerShell. Likewise, equivalent to dir, we have get child item. Here get is a verb, child item is a noun. Get hyphen child item, verb hyphen noun. That is the standard. What is wrong in this? Get I wrote 2 times, right? That was typo. Get child item. It is working fine. If you want to have a list of processes, right? So these all are the list of your directories you have. I can cancel it. I can use 3 commands to clear my screen. One is CLS. Oh, it's not coming here. One is CLS. CLS, it's working fine. Here the CLS also works fine. Unix command is clear, right? So let us list something here and then try to clear the screen. So clear will also work. I hope so. Where the command I'm typing, it's not so. Clear is also working. I tagged once, it worked fine, right? So this is just a brief idea of the commandlets that we do have. Our focus will be to learn a few important commandlets for working with Windows operating system. And whatever commandlets we will learn in context of SQL Server for manipulating SQL Server objects, right? So PowerShell treats complete SQL Server instance as an object, right? PowerShell treats complete SQL class, just a minute, there is a ping. PowerShell treats your complete SQL Server as SQL Server instance as an object. This is your instance. Here is the name of my machine followed by demo. This is what we have here, the instance name. It's a named instance. So PowerShell will treat it as an object, right? Now, under this object, we have multiple objects, and also this object has its own properties. Those properties are available under this server instance page. So you can access these all properties from PowerShell as well, or whatever you wish, you can make the changes. That is the first thing. If you can create the instance, definitely that instance will have some properties and its methods. So you will have access on those all things. Apart from that, this instance is the container of multiple objects, isn't it? It is the container of database. It is the container of logins. It is the container of linked servers. It is the container of endpoints, right? So it is the container of multiple server level objects. You can create those all server level objects and manipulate them as well using the SQL Server class that is available in PowerShell. So a lot of theory we have discussed here. Let us now just try to learn a few things. My approach will be here to learning by doing method, right? So I'm just trying to explain you that what should be our approach of learning here. In the second class, you will be more clear. I'm coming here. To have a new script window, I have to click on this button, or I can click on File New, right? So come here and you see. You will see a lot of things here. So what are the things here? I will explain you first. Whatever the words you see in this script that is prefixed with a $sign, that is a variable. So first you have to know about variables. Whenever you are going to learn any programming language, you have to learn about variables. Every variable stores some kind of data. So you have to learn about the data types. Two things are must for learning any language. You have to learn about variables. You have to learn about its data types, right? Third thing that on the top you see is a module. We are importing some module, right? So in order to work with SQL Server, in PowerShell, you have to import a module that is known as SQL PS. As you can see, the name suggests SQL PowerShell, right? SQL PowerShell, you can call it PowerShell for SQL. So if you remember your college day, when you were writing the program in C, at that time, you were calling, one file here by typing this keyword has include, right, like that, stdio.h. How many of you remember this? Do you remember this? Yes or no? Right? So why? Because you were using some printf and a scanf methods there. A scanf to take input from the user and printf to print something on the screen or to the printer. And printf and scanf, those two were the methods or functions available. Those were defined internally here in the stdio.h. This is the header file we call in C. So if you open this header file, right, in C, in a notepad, you will see that those printf and scanf methods are defined here. Likewise, when you have to work with graph, so you have to include graph.h, that header file. The same concept is here. Before you use any of the classes and methods for a particular application, you have to import the module of that application here in the first line, right? Disable name checking is somewhat advanced. I will not talk this today. Later, we will talk about this, how it is useful. But just to understand, you can even write this code here, import model SQL PS. It means that to work with SQL Server instance, you have to import this module as the first line in your code. Second, you see here is the instance names. I told you that whatever words you see here is prefixed with a $ is a variable. The next question is, what is a variable? Let us talk about that. So variable is a named location in memory, right? Let us write a very simple here code. Let us say x equals to 10, right? Or just remove $ from here. In general, we write x equals to 10, y equals to 20, and z equals to x plus y, right? And then we are printing the value, print y. If I execute this code, it will not run. It will throw error, right? Because this is not understood by the PowerShell compiler. This is not in PowerShell language, so it is not understood by that. What PowerShell says that every variable name should be prefixed with a $. So let us prefix every variable with a $sign here first. I can copy. Instead of typing, I can paste. So before x, before y, and then here y. Everything is correct right now, but still if I execute it, it will throw some error, right? Here it is saying unable to initialize device PRM, right? Printer is not initializing here because we have to print this on a screen. I don't have any printer, right? So what we have to do here, we can leave it simply. Let me print the value of Z here. It will simply print the value of Z, or another command is there. I will show you how to write that. So if I execute it now, it should go fine. Here you see the value 30 is being printed, but equivalent to printf statement, we have write host, right? Another commandlet here, write is the verb, hyphen, host is the noun, right? So write host Z, it will do the same. It will print the sum of x and y here. So every variable in PowerShell has to be prefixed with $. That is the first thing you have to know, right? If you come in SQL, as you all are DBH, most of the people, anyone who is not from SQL Server background?
Me, sir. Abhishek.
You are from SQL Server background. Why you are saying you are not from SQL Server background?
Somehow I am actually, basically I'm working as a window administrator.
No. You are from SQL Server background. You are learning SQL Server, right? That's fine.
Okay.
So let's come here and see how we are creating variables in SQL, right? So SQL Server supports a language that falls under 4th generation language, all structured query language. Flavors of all ANSI SQL or structured query language fall under ANSI SQL, right? ANSI is an organization, you might be knowing, American National Standard Institute, which is responsible for establishing the standard for programming languages, especially. And ASCII code was also standardized or established by the ANSI. So if I come to SQL Server, which supports Transact SQL, T-SQL, which is a flavor of which language, which is a flavor of ANSI SQL. So if I test this code here, right, and if I execute it, it will throw error. Why? Because it does not understand this form, right? Why the mouse is not working? Second. So this is incorrect, right? This is not under the proper syntax of T-SQL language. Here, every variable must be prefixed with @ sign, right? But still it is showing error. So we have to declare this variable with the declare statement, right? Declare X, then we have to define its type. So type is int. Some interesting facts I'm going to tell you here. The same thing we have to do here for Y, declare Y, and again it will be @. Then we have to use the set statement to do the calculation. Set, let me pick $ from here, @ from here. So guys, you have to be patient somewhat for learning programming languages, at least for next 3-4 sessions. Once you have the background, you can take a leap. You will enjoy it. Everything is fine. $x, $y, here is the error. So it is int type, int, right? And now we have to assign the value in X, $x equals to 10, and set $y equals to 20. Is it going fine? Yes. Set Z, we have not yet declared. So we have to declare Z as well. Control V, @Z. And we have to initialize Z with 0 first. So set $Z equals to 0. After that, this value will come, and here we can use print statement to print the value of Z, and it should be @. So if you compare this code, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines are here. How many lines are there in the PowerShell? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why it is known as a scripting language. It is somewhat concise, crisp, yet powerful, right? You see here, this is a very simple example. Now, this code will work fine because it has written it printed 30. Addition of 10 and 20, the sum is 30. It printed 30. So it went fine. Different languages have their different syntax, and you have to follow the syntax while you are writing your code. As you write sentences in English, you have to follow the syntax of English grammar. Likewise, as you are writing your sentences For example, this is a sentence, this is a sentence, this is a sentence, and this complete is a paragraph, right? So every sentence must follow the syntax of that language. And that is why I have tried to show you here for SQL Server, and this is for PowerShell, right? But another interesting thing is here, when I have assigned a value 10 into this X variable in PowerShell, I didn't need to declare the type of X. What will be the type of X, right? That is the power of PowerShell. No other language has such feature. Apart from PowerShell, in my knowledge, no other language has such feature where without declaring its data type, that what kind of data it is going to hold, you can directly assign the value. What kind of data you are going to put into the variable, it will have that type itself. I will show you, right? So see, what is the beauty there in PowerShell? Here you have to declare the type of variables first. Then you have to assign the values into variable, and then only you can go for the calculation. Here in PowerShell, what is the beauty? You don't have to assign, you don't have to declare the type of the variable before assigning the value, right? So let us open a new query window.
Sir, it will work for characters also.
Yes, yes, I'm showing you now. Okay. So I am putting here dollar, say for example, A equals to 10, right? Now, I have not declared its type, but I want to see what is the type of this variable, right? So this variable has its own method that it supports. So I can use $A, and you can see one method there, that is get type, right? So here is the get type. Every method starts with an open parenthesis and closes with a parenthesis. I have assigned a numeric variable here, so its type should be like int 32 or 34, something like that. It should display, right? int 32, you see here, right? If the base type is system.value type, we don't have to go in that much of base or true or is serial, something like that. These all are coming from C# class. Here we have to focus, it is int type. Now let us do one thing. Let us assign something like 100.00, right? Let us clear this and execute this. So it is saying the double type, right? It's not integer type, right? It's double type. If we assign a value like here, I never did that. Let me give it a try. 2e plus 10. Let us see if it works or not. Yes, wonderful, it worked. This is in floating point notation, right? You might be knowing about this. 2e plus 10, this is floating point number. I assigned it, and it is treated as float double, right? So now in the same variable or in a different variable too, if I assign here a string, in PowerShell, strings are assigned within double quote. So if I assign here, say for example, PowerShell, right? And I want to now know the type of this PowerShell. So it will be something related to a string. You see here. This inclined T button is used to clear the console pane. This is what your console pane is there. This one where you get the results of your program. This is your development area in which you use to develop your script. You write your script, right? So let's execute this. Clear the console pane and then execute it here. This is a string. You see? So you got the answer, right? Next, I am assigning the current date, right? There is a commandlet called get date. right? Get is the verb, get is the noun, both are separated with hyphen. So to confirm that it will work, what I will do, I will come to the PowerShell prompt and I will execute this command, get date. You are getting the date here. So date is also supported, date is the DOS command, and their get hyphen date is the commandlet, right? You are free to use any commandlet in your script too. So whatever the value of this, or whatever the result of this get date is, that will be assigned in variable A. And now I want to see its type, right? So it should be date type. You see here, it is date time type, right? So what kind of data we have explored? We have explored integer type of data. We have explored decimal type of data that came in form of double, right? We explored a string type of data. We explored date and time type of data, right? Now, let us create a variable, or let us do one thing. Let us do one thing. Let us now try to list different types of data here, right? So for example, $num equals to 10, right? Then dollar num2 equals to, say, for example, 1000.456. Then dollar, say, for example, name equals to, within double quote, Srinivas, right? Then what we're missing, date, right? So dollar today date equals to get hyphen date. We have at least 4 kinds of data. Name Srinivas. So let us take another variable here, and that is, for example, say for example, gender, right? GENDER, gender equals to $true. For male, I assume true. Okay. Now let us get all the types, right? So get the type of num. Just I'm copying it multiple times here. That's fine. I have to replace it. num2 name today date, and here is center. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of data. This is Boolean type. Boolean type has the value in PowerShell as true or false, and that is prefixed with $ itself. Let's execute it and see the result now. So what you see for the first one, num get type, it is int32. It's an integer value. For the second, 1000.456, its type is double. For the third, Srinivas, its type is a string. For fourth, it is date time, today's date. And for the fifth, that is gender, it is Boolean type, right? So you have these types of data available in PowerShell. So let me go there and show you the document as well. Once you enroll in the course, I will provide you these all documents, right? So first we show here Boolean type that may have true or false value. There is byte type also, character type also, date type we have seen, decimal and double type we have seen. We have seen integer type, we have not used long type, it is for larger value, right? Then we have short type for a smaller value. We have single type for floating point numbers. Single and double are for floating point numbers. We have a string type that we have seen. So these are the different kinds of data types that you have available in PowerShell. And the most interesting fact is that before assigning a value into a variable, you don't have to declare its type. That has been proved here, right? We have not declared the type of this num value that it will be of integer type. We have not declared the type of num2 that it will be decimal type or double type. We have not declared the type of name that it would be of a string type or character type. We have not declared the date type variable that it would be of date time type. We have not declared the value type of gender variable that it will be of Boolean type. We have simply assigned different nature of values into different variables, and those are automatically assigned their types on the nature of the data they have, right? What is this DKRZ errors? What is this Murthy? Okay, that's fine. So that is about the data type we have. So now the question is what a variable is. So answer is, those who are new, they can note it down. A variable is a named location in memory which holds some value, right? When you say named location, what does it mean? Your memory, that is RAM, random access memory RAM, made up of large number of cells, and every cell has its own address. If you have done some programming in C language using pointers, at that time you were using memory addresses directly, right? So handling memory addresses by ourselves, that is known as unmanaged code, is somewhat difficult. That's why in almost all the programming languages, we use variables, not pointers. So this name variable will be stored in some location in memory, and it will have some value there, right? Stored, it will have some value stored there. So what a variable is a named location in memory which holds some value. That is the definition of variable. Another term that you may come across while you are learning the programming language is literal, right? Your literal may be any constant value. It may be a string, it may be a number, it may be a date value, it may be a Boolean value. That is your literal. So these values are your literals: 10,000.456, right? Srinivas, get date which returns some date, right? These all are what? Your literals, or you can say constant values, right? So now you have the concept of variable and literals, data types. Any questions so far we have discussed?
Neeraj, one question, like, so we are getting a data type by using a get type, right? So for that we are mentioning, so declared value. Do we can we get without mentioning that value?
No, so which data type you will get? If you don't have any variable, what data type you will get, right? What kind of man you are? If you are there, your existence is there, then only I can say that which kind of man you are, right?
Yes.
What kind of teacher I am. If I present my knowledge only to you, then only you can get about the idea that what kind of teacher I am. So for what you want to get the type, you have to specify that, right? I want to know the type of num variable. I want to know the type of today's date variable. I want to know the type of gender variable, right?
Correct.
Right. So simply what you will get? Nothing. Anything else, guys? Okay, then come back to our script. So we have started our discussion from this variable name here itself, right? Another is get content, right? Get content is a commandlet in PowerShell. What it do? It reads a text file, right? So let me do this all together here. You will have, I will explain you line by line. So once you will know about these all things, right, you will be very much comfortable with programming. So see here, let us not do in this fashion. Do I have separate list in my directory? Let me go there. F drive, my folder. Where is F drive? F drive, do we have my folder directory? Yes, we do have. Separate list is also there. That's fine. Let us come to the PowerShell prompt here, right? And from here, let us use the one command I'm trying here. Let me do that from the command prompt first, right? I am in this directory. Let me go to F directory. So to change the directory, I have to simply type in F colon and press the enter key. Now I have to read this file, server list file. So I will use the type command in in DOS. Type F drive / my folder, and the file name is / the file name is server list.txt. So it is showing whatever is written there, it is showing, right? Let me do one more thing. I think that I have 2 instances here. So I can add another server there also. Let me go to see how many instances I have. So another is default instance, right? It's fine. So what I can do, this is my machine name. I can simply put it here. 0 is missing. I will put 0 here, right? So now 2 lines we have. Let us execute this command once again, type command. Let us clear the screen and then execute that same command here. So now you have 2 lines. So it means that type command in DOS is used to read a text file, right? Likewise, in PowerShell, you have get content commandlet. What is the content inside my in my what I would say in my file is there that I want to read. So use the get content command here. Get -content, and that is on F drive / my folder /server list.txt. You see here that content is listed here also. So this get command will be very useful for reading all your SQL Server instances that you will store in a text file. Like I have stored 2 instances here, right? The first is a named instance that is on my laptop. Second is a default instance of SQL Server that is also hosted on my laptop. I can iterate through these 2 instances to do different kinds of work. Say, for example, I have to create SQL login on these 2 instances at one go. I can put the name of my instances in this text file, and then I can iterate through a loop. I will read the lines or the contents of this server list text file. I will loop through each of the line using the for each loop that you will learn, and then I can create login on each of the server, right? That is what I'm doing in this script here. So let us come back again now. So interesting thing here. You saw that get content can read the text file, right? So now I want to see what is, so this is a variable name called instance names. So whatever is written in my serverless.txt file that will be read by get content commandlet and will be assigned to this variable instance names. So if I print this instance names now, I can see those two server names, SQL Server instance names will be listed here. Let us execute it. You see here. These two instance names are listed here. Desktop, this /demo, and ing, this demo. You see here. Right, guys? Okay. So I have another meeting from 10:30. Okay. So I would like to finish today's class at this point. Tomorrow we will continue with this Shell script itself. I will show it how it works, what are the things there, right? And we will talk about different things that is involved in this script that will be learning by doing approach. The objective of this script is to create logins on more than SQL login on more than one server at first, at a single click, with a single execution of the script. So a lot of things you will see in this script that is coming, and you will learn about that, right? So I will request you all to ping your email IDs so that I can send you syllabus, or if I have already sent the syllabus, then you don't need to ping that. So you can join the class tomorrow at the same time. We will continue the session, and 4 classes are for free. For then those who will who wish to continue from the 5th class, they will have to deposit 12K in INR for as the course fee, and after that new invites will be sent to you. Classes will be at the same time, 9 p.m. and that will be on alternate day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so that you will have one day for your learning. All the documents, I have a list of documents here that I will share with all of you. A few guys have already taken admission here in this course. I do not remember the name. Do I see that person? Was that? I'll have to check. I am not. Karthik, you there? Karthik? Surprising. That guy has already taken admission. Raghu is already taken admission. A few guys have already taken admission. Jagan is also not there. He has already taken admission. So many of the guys have already been introduced. Oh, Neeraj, you there? Neeraj Avasti. Thank you for joining.
Yes, sir. I am here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You know these all stuffs.
Right, sir. I means a lot of this.
Okay. Thank you.
And sorry, I joined late, sir, because I saw.
No problem. I know you are a busy guy. You are interested to attend my sessions, right? That's why I sent you.
Right, sir. I always intended to attend your session.
Carl were also in the session. Carl, when you joined?
Sorry, sir.
No, I am asking to Carl.
Okay.
Carl, when you joined the session? Oh, he's on mute. Okay, guys. So I wish you all will continue the session. You guys will also join. So that is fine. But those who have joined from the very first day, they will have a good background to go ahead. Those who will come tomorrow, they will have to suffer a little bit. So it's fine. You continue the session, and you will see how easily we will go ahead. Certainly, you will learn PowerShell from this training session. There is no doubt in that. You will be able to, automate your task in SQL Server, what kind of tasks you can automate. I will teach you all of those tasks, and also I will provide you the script as well, which have already been automated. Okay, so more than 20 tasks I think has already been automated. I will provide those all the script with all of you, those who will get admitted in this class. So those who are interested, I am available on, how many of you have my number there? I am available on this number on WhatsApp, 8750560006. So you can ping me, and I will provide you my account details, Paytm number or Google Pay number. You can deposit the codes be there, and you can continue that. But yes, of course, no need to pay up to 4 class, right? You can continue. The invite has already been sent. That is valid for today, 29th, 30th, and 1st of December. Okay. It's fine, guys. Any question you have? Any query? I have not shown syllabus to any one of you. Perhaps I shared the syllabus on my mail itself, if I'm correct. Was syllabus there in the mail? Where I can see the attachment. Yes, the syllabus is already there. So that's why I have not discussed the syllabus to this simply waste your time, right? So if you wish, you can go through these attachments. Those who have not received the syllabus, they can ping me. Ram Chandra is there in this session? No. Okay. Okay, guys, then thank you for your time. We'll see you tomorrow then.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, Nish.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.